The social historian and anthropologist Jared Diamond has written a lot of books. His most famous was one called Germs, Guns, and Steel. In it, he says that there are two organisms, apart from human beings, that have become enormously successful. And they are dogs and wheat. Both of these organisms, these living things, are deeply connected to the story of the development of human civilization, that humanity could not have gotten where it was without our ability to leverage wheat and grow it in enormous amounts. And of course, the story of dogs is very connected with human civilization, dating back some 40 or 50,000 years ago. The twinning of human beings and dogs is a beautiful story in and of itself. But we're not going to talk about dogs today, although one day we will. We're going to talk about wheat. I think about wheat because tonight on our table for Shabbat, we will have that delicious, beautiful, glutinous concoction called challah. Now, in Jewish tradition, we are told that before we eat anything, we are commanded to recite a bracha, a blessing, before we eat something, that a fruit plucked from the tree, or vegetables taken from the ground, or any other food, we're commanded to recite a blessing. This blessing, we are reminded by Maimonides, is not to fulfill some need in God. It is to fulfill a need in ourselves, that we need to understand that when we take something, to create a wellspring of gratitude for what it gives us. So for example, a fruit that's taken off of a tree, we say, "Blessed are you, O Lord our God, who creates the fruit of the tree," or the fruit of the ground. But it's interesting that when we eat bread, and this blessing is so well known, the blessing over the bread, the hamotzi, we say, "Blessed are you, O Lord our God, hamotzi lechem min haaretz." We don't bless God or thank God for the wheat that's in the ground. We bless God for the ability to draw the wheat from the ground. It's a very, very interesting blessing, and one that really leverages our understanding of what it means to be human. That our power, our great blessing as human beings, is to see the world and live in it, but not simply accept it for what it is, but it is to make more of it. The great English playwright, George Bernard Shaw, once famously wrote that the desert is a desert because the sun always shines. In other words, if you don't want to live in a barren desert, you have to be prepared to accept both the glaring sunlight and the dark night, both happy times and hard times. When we look at our challah on Shabbat, and yes, there is great joy and happiness in it, we also should see it as a symbol that both through happy and hard, that the human ability to take things from the earth, from life, from our situations, and to work it and shape it and create it, and then to make it into something better than it was, is one of our greatest, most abiding blessings of all. And that's what Jewish tradition wants us to take in our heart. Not simply to accept the world that God has created, but to take it and make it better. Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and stay healthy and well.